Hi everyone, today we'll see the TrueFoundry demo from the perspective of two different personas, DevOps and machine learning developer, starting with DevOps. So the goal of the DevOps is to install TrueFoundry on their private cluster so their data never leaves their own account and developers can deploy ML models. They can do this by managing all the Kubernetes clusters connected on different cloud accounts like AWS and GCP. Simply they have to connect this cluster and specify to TrueFoundry which type of machines would they like certain type of models to be deployed on. After this, they just connect TrueFoundry by installing a Helm chart, and their cluster is connected and can be completely managed from the TrueFoundry platform. Once the cluster is connected, they can see workspaces that are available, or they can create new workspaces. A workspace can be assigned for different environments like dev, staging, prod, or different teams as well. And here, a DevOps can also set up sizing on different types of environments as well. So the DevOps can actually allow the machine learning teams to deploy their models and make sure that they are never exceeding a certain cost, and their role-based access control is configured by default. Now let's switch to a developer persona, where the goal of the developer could be to deploy some simple services like pre-processing or post-processing functions, deploy their training or batch inference jobs, or deploy their models as an endpoint. They can do all of this simply from the UI, where they select, let's say if they want to deploy a model, they simply select a workspace that has been allocated to them. They provide the URI of the model, and if they want, they can tell us which particular package is this model built in. And after that, if they submit, the model will be deployed as an endpoint. Here, if they wanted to do more advanced stuff, like saying which model should be deployed in GPUs versus CPUs, or how much resource to allocate, they can do that. If they wanted to deploy their training job, they can either do this directly from their Docker containers, or they can also do this using the GitHub repository directly. So they just connect their GitHub repository and tell us the path to the file that they want to deploy. And again here, if they wanted to do fancier things like schedule the job at a certain cadence, or again set up like different families and all, they could do that. Similar thing for services. Now once any system is deployed, could be job, services, or models on the platform, they will be able to see different runs of the job. They can see that every single deployment is version controlled, and rolling back is actually just one click. And besides this, they can actually see the performance, the metric usage of the model, and they can also see the logs coming for the particular deployment. Once the system is deployed, they can actually monitor their machine learning models by going to our monitoring dashboard, where they can start with the top level monitoring. That is, they can track number of predictions, number of actuals, etc., and log loss and precisions as well. If they wanted to add other metrics, they could do that. Besides this, they can look at the data distribution, where they can compare the distribution of their predictions and actuals against a training set or an inference set in the past. They can also see the drift at the level of every feature and compare the distributions as well. With this, they should be able to quickly identify which subset of their model is not performing well. And after that, they can actually go down to a single row level and see that for what features, what was the prediction of the model and what was the actual. So this gives a developer a way to completely deploy their models within 15 minutes and be able to monitor from the top level of the service down to a single row level. As a next step, we are working on building out things like A/B testing, deployment of different pipelines and services as well. Thank you so much for listening.